Hey guys, so a few weeks ago I put out a video where I said, hey, I was sick. I actually had to go to the hospital. For those who don't know, I had pancreatitis and everything, but I'm better. I was better. And a few weeks ago, I gave an update and said, hey, I'm back. And then I didn't really get back in the game for another few weeks until now. And now I'm really in the right headspace to really go all in. Get back to my normal life with crypto trading. So. I wanted to mention that because it was a few weeks ago, and the last detailed update I gave was a few weeks back. And if you recall, I said this is at the top of a run, right? We were maxed out. I'll show you right here. This was several weeks back. It was right when we maxed out. We were right up here, all the way at the top of this last run. And I said we are about to start a multi-week correction. You guys remember that? You can go back and watch that video. I'll even put a link to that video below. Sometimes it's good, even though that particular analysis has pretty much played out. I did discuss the monthly charts on that. I discussed things further out as well, not just the immediate future. And it's also good when you see something when my model could be really accurate. So if I predict something today and then a month from now I refer back to this analysis from today, it'll be good to go back and look at it because you can see how I predicted what ended up coming through with such a perfect prediction, such a perfect model. It's good to go back and see what I said back then, knowing what you know now since it's been a few weeks. So I'll link that below. You could check out. It was just a quick little video. But in that quick little video, I talked about how we have a multi-week correction incoming. We have a big cool-off period after that last big pump up. Then after that weekly model resets, we're going to see a massive multi-month bull run and takes us all the way back to all-time highs, especially on the majors. Especially on Bitcoin, I would say, rather. So I would expect to get back to 75K Bitcoin. Now, it's not a sure thing, but there's a really good chance it's going to play out that way. I bring that up not just to brag, but also to point out that my models and my long-term models are obviously still extremely reliable and accurate. That's why with my private trading group, I don't just have people in the group who want to see my actual trades when I'm day trading, so it'll help them determine what trades they should make. And a lot of people follow my trades and make money, and that's a good way to get into the space. Find a good analyst who can guide you and share their trades, and maybe you can copy them. But I don't recommend blindly copying anybody, including and especially me, because if you don't have the skills to do what I do, blindly copying my trades could cause you to take a big loss because I know how to manage my risk and you might not have those skills, right? So I don't suggest people go after signals groups. I think education is far more important, and that's why I love educating people in trading. In this particular case, my models have been really, really good. So even when I wasn't actively trading, people in the group were still able to utilize my models and do well on their own, but I still hated not being around, so I'm happy I can be back to trade with the guys. I just wanted to say my models have been supremely reliable, even when I haven't been as active. So if you look at exactly how things played out, I had predicted we were going to get that reversal based on the Stoke model. Now, the Stoke model had maxed out over here on the weekly charts, and you can see we got really high. We were just starting to turn back down. That's why I was able to predict a multi-week correction. I knew we had to cool off for several reasons. There are a multitude of variables, overall sentiment, market psychology, plus the fundamentals and the technicals that were telling me we had to correct and cool off for a few weeks. But specifically, my Stoke model allowed me to come up with that precision entry. What I had said in that last video was anybody who's in long term, who's interested in buying and selling back a little bit lower, this might be a really good time to do that because we might spike up a little higher short term, but overall we're going to get that multi-week correction before that big bull run. So I can't say I'm 100% confident it's going to play out this way, but so far the first half of my model was a flawless prediction. We got the multi-week correction. Now we're getting to that point where we're close to the bottom. The Stoke hasn't quite gotten into oversold territory, so it's not as nice as I would like it to be, although the Ethereum chart is a lot more reassuring. If I look at Ethereum on the weekly, you'll see we have a much more clear wave structure, right? So it's also not all the way down at the bottom, but if you look look at the last times we got down to these lower levels, 20 to 30 on the Stoke, we started a massive run up. Even this most recent one right here was a big run, which took us from the most recent dump lows at 1900 all the way back up to 4K, right? So I think we're going to see a massive run like that, and this is why I'm even more confident. Not only is the weekly model almost done resetting and getting close to that point where it can reverse and turn back up, we just started a new weekly candle. There's 6 days left on this candle. We're only a day in. So I think the next week we might see some signs of a bullish reversal, but we're not really there yet. We're getting really close. So I'm going to focus more on short-term trading over the next days and maybe even the next week. And I'm going to get back into the groove with my shorter-term modeling and my shorter-term strategies and techniques. But I want you to see exactly what we're looking forward to on the longer-term side, which is going to be an insane money-making opportunity if it plays out correctly. So if you see the Stoke resetting on the weekly, once this weekly reset is complete and we do start that next leg up, not only can we repeat and get one of these big legs like last time, keep in mind this last run up was from down here all the way up to there was 123 to 125% run on Ethereum. That was the most recent run that occurred mid-July to early September before the multi-week correction I predicted so flawlessly. If you look at the monthly chart, this is where things get really interesting. We don't have quite the bullish model on Ethereum because we didn't get down to those oversold ranges, but we are getting a premature bullish reversal here. The reason why I'm not too worried about that is because Bitcoin is really what's reassuring. In the case of Bitcoin, we got a lot lower, and frankly, I don't see a scenario where we go down much lower because of the way the time frames work out. I often teach my members about using multiple time frames and how to look at the higher time frames and the lower time frames to try to understand what's happening in the current time frame. So if we want to know what's going to happen based on the weekly, we can see, if you look at the monthly, we're getting close to this big bullish reversal, right? So then if you drop down to the weekly, we're also getting relatively close, although we could have another bearish week. It's certainly possible. It might take another 2 weeks to get the bullish reversal, but once we do get that bullish reversal, we're going to end the multi-week correction I predicted, and we're going to start a multi-week bull run, right? And the multi-week bull run is the start and facilitating catalyst for that multi-month bull run. Once we finish bottoming out and we start that next leg up like we have right here, right? You see that big leg up we were just talking about, where we went from 28.8 all the way up back to 52 and change, right? Then we got the multi-week correction I was predicting, and there's another bullish variable I'm going to show you guys here in a second too. Then we got that multi-week correction I had predicted, and once that multi-week correction is complete and we start up again, we're going to start another multi-week bullish run. But what's going to happen when you jump up to the higher time frames, that multi-week bullish run is going to thrust us into that monthly trend reversal. So when the Stoke oscillator starts trending upward, right now we haven't confirmed bullish. There's still 3 days left on this particular model. It depends what exchange you're on, but on this particular exchange, the way the weekly candle started, or the monthly, this is the monthly, sorry. The way the monthly candle is, there's 3 days left on this monthly. So the way the timing works out, in 3 days, if this monthly candle can close bullish like this, there's a really high probability it's going to be the start of one of these. Boom. Look at the Stoke all the way in the bottom of the screen, right? This big leg up, which then went hyper bullish and continued even further, but that's a discussion for another time. And now this leg up. So once we get this confirmation in 3 days from now, once we close this bullish, that's potentially going to be the start of a bull run like we saw the last time. The last big bull run that took us all the way up to 65K could launch us to 75, 85, 90K. I'm expecting all-time highs, and I think it's going to last for several months. I think we're going to have 2 to 5 months of sustained, massive bullish market activity, and I think that's going to start once we get the bullish reversal on the weekly. So you need to factor in both time frames. Now, I'm not saying go all in right now and hold for 6 months and you're going to be rich, but the way I'm expecting things to play out right now, I could assign a percentage to it. I could say my confidence level is between the high 60s, maybe 70%, all the way up to as high as 80-85%. There's probably a 10 to 15% range there where I'm maybe 70 to 85% confident we're going to get this massive bull run that's going to sustain for multiple months, 2 to 5 months, like I said. More likely 3 to 6 months, but we'll see how things play out. So one of the things that's also reassuring about it that you'll notice is, and I talked about this in the last video I shared publicly, when you're looking at overall trends, right, and you see a big run up like this, and a small correction down, and a big run up and a small correction down, that's starting a bullish uptrend, or that's at least representative of a bullish uptrend, right? So I know I draw this on a bunch of charts, and I just did this recently, but let me show you this way. If you have a small or a big move up and a small move down, and a big move up and a small move down, and a big move up, that's a bullish uptrend. If you have, let's do this. If you have a big move down and a small move up, and a big move down and a small move up, and a big move down, that's creating a bearish downtrend, right? So one of the things you'll notice right here is that's exactly how things are playing out here. On the way down, right, we didn't have a bullish uptrend. Before that we did. Over here we had a big move up and a small move down. Big move up, small move down. Big move up, and then you saw the reversal, right? Then you saw things shift. And as things shifted, we had a big move down and a small move up, and a big move down and a small move up, and a big move down. Then the reversal again, and it switched back to big move up, small move down. So what does that tell us? The next move is going to be big move up. And you can see that visually by going up a time frame. Again, the multiple time frame thing. You need to understand how to look at these different time frame levels and see, based on the different levels, the way you're looking at the time frames, you can see these patterns and sort of visualize how it's happening. So if I were to do this, they changed this up a bit. Where's the option to hide? Hold on. Right here. I'm going to hide everything so it's a little bit easier to see. So this is the weekly. And we had this big trend up and then this trend down. Now we're starting the trend up. So again, now that it's clear, you can see big move up, small move down, big move up, small move down, big move up, and then the reversal, right? Where it stopped that trend and it switched to big move down, small move up, big move down, small move up, big move down. So if I jump up to the monthly, you can see right at the top when you saw that reversal, all these green candles on the weekly chart, right? Had a big move up and a small move down, and a big move up and a small move down, and a big move up, creating that strong bullish uptrend. And that's as the Stochh, right, our momentum oscillator, was climbing. It eventually went hyper bullish, where it stayed in that overbought range all the way up top. And that's where we maxed out, and then we started to see that reversal. So that shift, that reversal, where we started coming back down, was this multi-month correction. And this multi-month correction facilitated that trend reversal. So on the weekly chart, you can see the exact moment that we went from getting big move up, small move down, big move up, small move down, uptrend. We kind of clustered together right here at the top. It didn't know what kind of was happening. We kind of lost steam. You can see we had like a big move up and a small move down, and then each move up started getting smaller and smaller and smaller until eventually it switched to big move down, small bounce up, big move down, small bounce up. And that switch, that reversal, is the trend reversal that you can see on the weekly. You can match that up on the monthly and see that's exactly how it happened, right? So now what's happening? Now we had that run up, we had that trend reversal where we started going down on the weekly chart with bigger moves down and smaller bounces up. And now we're seeing this reversal on the monthly. So as we get this reversal on the monthly, we're going to see a big move up and a small move down and then a big move up. So one more time, if I drop down to the weekly, that's why it makes perfect sense. My model fits perfectly. On the weekly chart, this down here is exactly what happened up here. We had a big run up, right? And then we kind of went sideways and got much smaller moves. Instead of a big move up and a tiny move down, we started getting much smaller moves up. And the moves down started getting bigger. So as the moves up started getting smaller, the moves down started getting bigger. That was the monthly trend shift. So that directionality change, where we went from bullish to bearish, is now manifesting again. We had initially a big move down and a small move up, big move down and a small move up. Then each move up and down started getting much smaller. So we started going sideways. Just like what happened up here, we're seeing the same thing down here. And that trend reversal started the monthly reversal. So now we have a bigger move up and a smaller move down. So while initially, my last update video, when we were all the way at the top here, I said I think we can go down all the way to the mid-30s potentially. I thought we can get down to the 55 EMA, maybe the top of the cloud. That's why I said there could still be one more week. So after this weekly candle closes in 6 days, we might have another full week where it's bearish. We could get a bullish confirmation on the trend reversal in 6 days, but it's still possible it can take 13 days, another week plus 6 days, right? So since that's possible, I'm not giving up on the potential for doing 35, 36K as a potential bottom, because this is a primary major support zone. So if we do push a little lower, I think we wick down right to the 55 EMA or right to the top of the cloud right here. So essentially somewhere between 35.5 to 37, somewhere in that range would be the perfect bottom for the final trend reversal. But we might be getting into that trend reversal now. We just don't know for sure yet. So something to keep an eye on, and that's why I said it's good to focus on the short-term trades now, not necessarily jumping into the long-term stuff. Because if you start accumulating long-term bags now, you might miss out on potentially buying much lower if we get that final dip. On the other hand, if we do start the bullish reversal from here, you want to load up now so you don't end up having to pay more. But in this particular case, I don't expect to get a massive breakout, at least until this weekly candle ends. So again, we have 6 days left on the weekly candle. I think it's safe to give it at least till the end of the week and see how things play out. And then if we start getting a strong bullish reversal and signals thereof, then I would get into the bigger long-term bags. For now, I'm focusing on the short-term stuff. But overall, you should be excited, and I would at least start getting capital ready, work on your capital preparation, start setting aside some funds that you could put into the longer-term investments and the longer-term bags. That way, once we start seeing those signs of final confirmation, and my confidence level goes from 70 to 80% to 90, 95%, when I'm really confident we're getting that bullish reversal, that's when I'm going to throw that money in. So for now, I'm setting it aside. I'm going to make sure I have that capital available. And when it's time to pull the trigger, I'm going to pull that proverbial trigger like a mofo and load up on those mid and long-term bags, because I'm expecting, again, a multi-month bullish run, taking us all the way to all-time highs. It's something to be excited for. It's not a guarantee yet. Again, my confidence, high 60s, maybe 70 to 85, somewhere in that range. Certainly more confident than 50%. I don't think it's a 50-50 thing. I'm definitely leaning well above 50% probability that we get this multi-month bull run, but I'm not 100% confident yet. So we'll play it by ear, see how things play out. For now, I would advise getting capital ready so you have those resources in place when it's time to execute. But in the meantime, doing short-term stuff, there are plenty of short-term opportunities, because even the weekly chart is getting overbought in certain areas. There might be an opportunity to do some shorts with short-term stuff. As of right now, I entered into one long-term trade right now that looks, one short-term trade right now that looks really bullish on the alts. I also entered into a trade on one of the majors. I'm not going to dive into those because that's for the private group. I'm just sharing my overall analysis and my overall, thinking for educational purposes publicly. But for those of you who are in the group, go check out Discord. I posted the link to the other video I did. It was just a quick one, but I talk about the couple trades I'm watching, and I'm going to be getting into many more trades in the coming days. I'm just starting out slow. I only opened up 2 new positions right now, one of which is pretty much paper trading. Anyway, that's it for now. Hopefully that gets you guys excited. I want to get those juices flowing. I would heed my advice and start getting capital ready, because if you're in a position to put a lot of money into the market but you don't have that capital readily available, it's always a good idea to start setting it aside, making sure it's available in the exchange so you can execute and start putting that money in play when the time comes, because you don't want to be in a situation where the time comes, we get bullish confirmation, we're right on the cusp of starting a multi-month bull run, and that first initial breakout of a 30% market pump gets missed out on because you didn't have the resources in place to execute. That's it for now. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments or join the Discord, ask me questions there. That's pretty much it. The rest of my contact info and all my various socials and stuff I'll put in the description below as usual. And hit me up anytime with questions. It's good to be back, guys. I'm really excited for this. I think I came back at the right time, given the multi-month bullish model we're right on the cusp of confirmation for. And if I'm right about this, it's going to be an absolutely incredible few weeks and months. Stay tuned for more. I'll do another update tomorrow. And, trade safe, trade smart. It's good to be back, guys.